Hey Kong fam, so here's our next project, Rusty and Her Family number 21. Before we get started with this, let's take a little bit of a look at the history of Rusty. Rusty and Her Family began as simply Rusty with issue 12 in 1947 and was formerly known as Kid Comics. Rusty Comics was an anthology book. The book's namesake Rusty was a wife with 2 kids and bright red hair, hence the name. With issue 21 in 1949, the book's name changed again, this time to Rusty and Her Family, and ran for 2 more issues before changing names again to the Kellys. The books were published by Hercules Publishing, which was owned by Timely Comics. While we think about Marvel Comics beginning in 1962, many of the Hercules books had Marvel Comics on the cover. Issues 21 and 22 had Stan Lee stories and art by Al Jaffrey and Harvey Kurtzman. Alright, so this is issue 21. A pretty beat up copy. You can see it's got some water. It's had some water damage, so it's pretty wavy. We can press that out. We got a lot of spotting. It's not really tanning. Again, there's that Marvel Comics logo I was talking about. And this one was obviously given away because it says compliments of Dr. Pepper Bottling in Seneca, Kansas. So I think that's kind of neat. Adds a little bit of provenance to the book. The back is pretty rough. Again, a lot of that spotting. But not anything we can't repair. It looks like most of the pieces are here along this spine, so that's why I kind of picked it as a project. It's not overly worth it a lot, but it's a good book for us to focus on some of these types of spots, and it's been a while since I've tried to really flatten out a book that has water damage like this. It is complete. It was published in 1949. And right there you can see Stan Lee and Harvey Kurtzman. Just normal old 8-panel grid. Nothing fancy in that regard. And there's our girl Rusty. And then it was here, letter to our readers and parents, Marvel Comic. And they even said Marvel Comic Group. So yeah, 1949, long before the 1960s. So I found that really interesting, a really cool little part of history. Here's our centerfold. We can see the staples are off. You can even see the indentations of the staples on the other side. Again, another Stan Lee, Harvey Kurtzman. Oh, you can order engagement rings for only 94 cents. All right. So there we go. We're not going to do anything to the interior wraps, no need to. See, a lot of that has come through. Some spots missing, but you know, a lot of this can be repaired with Tengujo. Not, you know, book's not really worth trying to do leaf casting on unless you want to do it as a project. But I just thought it'd be a fun, something different to work on. You know, sometimes you just need a break from those expensive books. $100 and $200 and $400 and $600 books that you're just sometimes so on edge about you know, wanting to create equity and afraid of messing up, that it feels good just to brush up on your skills a little bit and, you know, dig into a book that doesn't have a lot of value, you're not going to build a lot of equity with or anything, and then just try and enjoy the hobby a bit. And you know, the hobby for me is collecting and really conservation right now. You know, just finding these books out there that, you know, could use some love and attention, and try to enjoy it a little bit. So it's definitely a journey and not the destination, as they say. All right, so with that, we will start taking this book apart. So we've washed and fixed the cover. So whenever I was washing the cover, it did split on me. Looks like we did get all the spottage and a lot of the nastiness out. Cover's really smooth. Alright, there we go. Hey, you can't even see. I mean, I did a lot of reinforcements. This cover did split from here all the way up to around here. Looks really good. Oh, thank you, Jack. Yeah, I couldn't be happier with that. Didn't seem to lose anything. I was looking at these ads, man. This is freaking nightmare fuel, isn't it? Buddy Bear with flashing electronic eyes. Lights up and you tickle his tummy. And look at that one. She drinks, she wets, she sleeps. Yeah, couldn't be happier so far with this. Really cleaned up nice. I'll go through, see if a little bit of a dry clean might help. I'm not going to worry about things like this. That's a pencil mark, it looks like. But the brightness, it's all flat. Remember, it was water, had water and wavy. It's all pretty and flat. Really smooth. So yeah, this little project turned out okay. So we'll do the trimming, and I'll have to find my staple holes again, and we'll get this book wrapped up. Yes, pitiful cat, you are. Nothing better than like laying on Golden Age, huh? So I want to show this real quick on the cover. I was getting ready to put the staples back in on this book, and what I was having issues with was, oh, Jack. Yes, they want to see you. You are the star of the show, not the comic books. You need your own channel. You need the Jack channel. This is the comic book channel. But what I wanted to show was, when I was trying to put the staples back in, is this spine is very, very flaky, in the sense that a lot of paper was kind of popping up as I was trying to put the staples in. And so what I did, and I'd never done this before, and I'd seen Jerry the Jitterbug do it, is I ran a bead of methyl cellulose down this spine in order to kind of secure down that paper. So the layers, and I don't really want to say layers because the paper necessarily is in layers, but the fibers are stacked on top of each other. And so it was kind of flaking off. And I'd never done that before, but it came out pretty well. You can see a little bit of, not sure if the light's catching it, but you can see a little bit of where I'd put the methyl cellulose, but it's not anything dramatic, and it's not sticky or anything like that. I did my normal procedure of putting the bead or gluing down, and then I put it in between two pieces of SRP paper, front and back, and then pressed it using my Immaculate Comics pressing boards. Now, with the pressing boards, I had to do it like this, and so I think I'm talking to Rick about making some larger pressing boards to fit the whole cover. Give us kind of a one-stop shop for those things. Also, what I wanted to point out was doing that, of course, caused ripples. And you can see right here where the spine was, right here's the spine of the book of where I'd put down the methyl cellulose. I have ripples that came through. Now, these ripples did carry over to the comic book cover, and I know that's the reason why a lot of people don't like using SRP paper. But like I'd shown in a previous video, if no one had seen it, after letting that press and dry completely for an hour or so, I then take my book and put it in between two pieces of Bristol board, then do two magazine boards, top and bottom, gloss side down, and then put it through the press, and no humidification or anything like that. Just put it in the press, and you can see it came out completely flat. All those ripples are gone. You know, you might have, I mean, because this isn't the final press, it still needs humidification. You'll still have a few wrinkles. That's just normal. But yeah, all those wrinkles are gone. You can get a little better look of all the Tengujo I'd put here. But, yeah. You know, great flop, great snap. And yeah, I'm pretty proud of that. Especially remember, this cover was split from here all the way down. So we fixed that entire cover split that traveled almost the whole length of the spine. So now I'm going to do my final book assembly, do humidification chamber, and then the final press, and we'll see what the results are. All right, I hadn't shown this in a while. Forgive my messy dining room table. Here's my humidity chamber, just a plastic box. I put these pieces of Tupperware down just to have this up off of the water I'm put in. Here is my piece of plastic from Rick. I put a microfiber cloth, and here's what's great about this little tool here of Rick's is I can easily move my comic around with it. I'm doing this one-handed. I got my comic laid down, put a second microfiber cloth on top, and then I just take 4 cups of warm tap water, not boiling anything else, just warm water from the faucet. Put in there. Put my lid down, and I'll let that sit in there for about 20-25 minutes, and then I put it in the press. All right, Kong fam, so let's see how this book turned out. Very nice. Nice, flat. Got a little gloss to it. Looks like we got rid of a lot of the staining. And there's still some. We knew we would just lighten that a little bit, not really get rid of it. That spine came out nice. Again, very nice. All the staining's pretty much gone. We lightened some things. That's a nice floppy book. I noticed too, right before I pressed it, you know, some of the interior pages too were wrinkled up from water damage. Get everything back in. Looks like the witness marks match up well. And really cool. Stan Lee stories, Harvey Kurtzman. You know, 1948. And so this would be a good 15 years before he started the Marvel Comics and, you know, doing all this writing and stuff. And then for a humor book too. You know, so you just kind of get an idea of his, you know, he put in the work, right? You say what you want to about Stan Lee, the guy put in the work, writing these stories, thinking up stories, coming up with funny little things. And you know, I think that's reflected in a lot of his Marvel work too, you know, which made it relatable and you know, kind of fun to read. Family with, you know, with problems and stuff. I mean, he just really had a great insight into a lot of those things, and I think it's because he cut his teeth on having to do these types of books, and it's just a really great little view into that history of his writing and, you know, again, comic books in general. You know, 1948, Marvel Comics, it is a timely publication, and so, you know, you got to think about, it went from timely to Atlas, then to Marvel Comics. So, you know, there's got to be some thought in there, right? That, hey, we used to use this word, you know, we used to call this Marvel Comics back in the 40s. Late 40s, and, you know, revitalizing that. Also, probably thinking a little bit about the history of the first comic they put out, you know, which was Marvel Comics #1. So it's just, to me, a great little lens in which to look at Marvel comic history, a little bit of the history of Stan Lee, and his work with Harvey Kurtzman. I mean, that's freaking awesome, man. I just couldn't be more delighted. I really enjoyed working on this book. It was great to work on something that I didn't have to worry about being a couple $100. You know, we'd had a couple little weird things happen in the past couple of books, so it was great just to work on something a little bit relaxing and just enjoy the hobby of conservation. Enjoy the appreciation for these books. So with that, we're going to call it there. Thank you if you've joined me this far. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell anytime you want to see me, Jack, or any of these other great books. But with that, I'm going to say peace, love, and comics. Bye.